I think that the mainstreaming approach is still really important just to raise awareness, but I think that the need to demonstrate how your findings are different if you specifically are looking at the gender issues requires us to do a bit more strategic research. So I can, for example, I can give an example of a student who's been doing some work with my group, and she explicitly came in to kind of challenge the predominant understanding that it's male Maasai who manage the herds, and that sort of any household milk production is, yes, women are involved in it, but that's not really important. But she's explicitly gone out and looked at women, looked at how they make decisions about which cows should be lactating, which ones are they going to milk, how they move them around, and she's come up with a completely different model of herd management, which, if we're concerned about the nutritional implications of changing production strategies amongst the Maasai, which is certainly something that's understanding, we absolutely have to look at what she's understood. And I mean, and until she kind of came in and took a specifically gendered approach, I've not seen anything that suggested that women were kind of making these explicit decisions, and that women and men's decisions about how to manage animals could actually be in conflict. So yeah, and it's that kind of research that will force us to target women more explicitly and actually lead to some of this sort of transformative gender outcomes that we aim for. It can be a very good thing. I think there's evidence coming out. For example, I was talking to someone recently who's again been working with female agricultural actors in northern Tanzania, and one of the things that she's found is that for them, the ability to own an animal gives them a sense of empowerment that they don't otherwise have, because the way that land tenure works in so many of these communities, where it's not possible for women to have access to land. And so that's an example of a process of feminization of agriculture, although I don't know that that's what you meant. But the broader trend, I mean, on the one hand, it's a negative because it represents that agriculture is no longer seen as a growth activity. A lot of that feminization is happening because of migration of men to urban centers. But it does mean that de facto, whether or not they actually have official permission from their husbands, women are making many of the decisions about how to manage farms day to day. So that makes a positive. Another negative is perhaps the double, triple labor burden that women are facing. But again, the positive is that if we in the agricultural development community pay more attention to the needs of women farmers, we could have a huge impact.